It was an ordinary morning on Earth when the news broke. War had been declared. At first, it seemed unbelievable. The Zixians, an alien race that had never shown any interest in Earth before, had sent a message to the United Nations. The message was short, cold, and terrifying. Galactic war declared on humanity. Prepare for the end. The entire world went silent as people tried to process the shocking news. Governments across the globe scrambled to respond. No one knew why the Zixians had chosen to attack now, or what had led them to target Earth. There was no warning, no provocation, but one thing was clear. Earth was about to face a threat unlike anything it had ever seen before. In the capital of the United States, the president immediately called an emergency meeting with top military and scientific advisors. Meanwhile, leaders from other nations did the same, realizing they would have to work together if humanity was to survive. Panic spread across the globe as cities began to prepare for the worst. Captain Maya Brooks, a young but brilliant strategist in the Earth Defense Force, was among those who rushed to the front lines. She had been studying the Zixians for years, ever since Earth's first contact with the aliens. Their technology was far beyond anything humanity had ever seen, and their warships were known to be nearly invincible. No one knew how long Earth could stand against such a powerful force. Maya was a natural leader, and she quickly gained the respect of her fellow officers. She was known for her calm and analytical mind, traits that would prove invaluable in the coming days. As the news about the Zixian fleet reached Earth's leaders, Maya began formulating a plan. There was no time to waste. At a war council, Maya stood before a large screen displaying the galaxy map. A fleet of Zixian warships had just entered the outer reaches of the solar system, and they were moving fast. It was clear that the Zixians had no intention of negotiating or discussing peace. They had come to conquer. "This is a critical moment," Maya said, addressing the room. "We don't know what they want, but we know that they will not hesitate to destroy us if we don't stand strong. Our best chance is to fight back and show them that Earth won't be an easy target." The room was filled with murmurs of agreement. It was clear that no one was ready to give up without a fight. But the question remained: could humanity fight back against such a powerful enemy? Maya didn't have all the answers, but she had a plan. She quickly began organizing Earth's defense forces, using every resource at her disposal. The world's best scientists and engineers worked around the clock to build new weapons and defenses. Earth's military, which had long been trained for conventional warfare, now had to adapt to face an alien enemy with advanced technology. As the days passed, the Zixian fleet grew closer. They were no longer just a distant threat. They were right at the edge of the solar system. Maya knew that time was running out, and Earth had to be ready. Despite the fear that gripped the world, there was also a sense of unity. Governments put aside their differences, pooling resources and knowledge to face the threat. People from every corner of the planet worked together, knowing that survival depended on their ability to fight as one. Captain Maya and her team worked tirelessly to prepare Earth's forces. It wasn't just the military that needed to be ready. Everyone did. From scientists working on new technology to civilians volunteering to assist in any way they could, the entire planet was focused on one goal: to protect Earth from the Zixian threat. The Zixian ships, massive and terrifying, continued their approach. They were unlike anything humanity had ever seen. The ships moved with eerie precision, their advanced weapons capable of destroying entire cities with a single blast. The first wave of their attack was expected to come at any moment. As the day of the first battle drew near, Maya stood on the deck of a military command ship, staring out at the dark expanse of space. Her heart raced, but she kept her composure. The fate of humanity rested on her shoulders. In the distance, the Zixian fleet loomed larger, their ships like silent giants, closing in on Earth. Maya could feel the tension in the air, but she knew that Earth had one thing the Zixians didn't: hope and the unwavering determination to protect what they loved. This isn't just a battle for survival, Maya thought to herself. This is a battle to show the galaxy that Earth will never back down. With that thought, Maya turned back to her team, her mind sharp and focused. The fight for Earth was about to begin. The first wave of Zixian ships entered Earth's atmosphere, their dark shadows casting over cities and towns. Panic spread even faster than the ships. People feared the worst, and with good reason. The Zixians had not made any demands or negotiations. They came with full force, leaving no room for diplomacy. Earth had no choice but to fight. Across the world, governments quickly set aside differences. What mattered now was survival. The United Nations issued a global call to arms, urging all nations to join forces. Military units from every corner of the planet began to mobilize, from the United States to China, from Russia to India. The once divided world was now united in a common cause. Humanity would face this enemy together. In every country, leaders appeared on television, urging citizens to stay calm and trust in their military forces. "We are stronger together," they said. "We will not let Earth fall." Captain Maya Brooks watched the world change before her eyes. The quiet chaos of the past few days had turned into an intense energy that filled the air. There was no time to lose. The Zixian fleet was growing closer, and she knew that every second counted. People everywhere were getting ready to defend their homes. Maya's role had never been clearer. She was no longer just a strategist. She was the leader of Earth's defense. Her expertise had made her the best choice to lead humanity's response to the invasion. While world leaders focused on public addresses, Maya was hard at work planning Earth's military strategy. In a command center, deep underground, Maya worked tirelessly with her team of scientists, engineers, and military experts. The task ahead of them was monumental. Humanity had never faced an enemy so advanced. The Zixian ships were equipped with energy weapons that could wipe out entire cities in a single strike. Their technology was light years ahead of humanity's. But there was one thing Maya knew for sure. Humanity had something the Zixians could not predict: the human spirit. It was a force that could not be measured or calculated, a strength that could not be beaten down. Even in the face of certain defeat, humans refused to give up. As Maya looked at the map of Earth's military bases, she saw the collaboration happening across the planet. Soldiers from every country were joining forces, offering their skills and their knowledge to the fight. Nations that had once competed for resources and power were now standing side by side, ready to protect what mattered most: Earth. Maya's team worked around the clock, developing a counterattack. With every resource at their disposal, they created new weapons, improved old ones, and searched for weaknesses in the Zixian fleet. Maya knew the Zixians had underestimated humanity. They believed that Earth was weak and divided, that the humans would crumble under the pressure. But Maya had a different vision. Earth's people were far stronger than they realized. The first step was to prepare Earth's defenses. Humanity's engineers and scientists worked day and night, upgrading Earth's space stations, installing energy shields, and reinforcing military bases. Every country contributed something. Some provided advanced missile technology. Others shared information about space travel and defense systems. All of humanity's knowledge came together in this one moment. Across the globe, civilians played their part too. People volunteered for various roles, whether it was helping to build weapons, assist in hospitals, or support their families through the difficult times. Schools were closed, factories shifted to military production, and businesses provided materials. The world's economy, which had once focused on profit and consumption, now focused entirely on survival. As Maya looked at the Earth's new defense systems, she could see the progress. Humanity had found ways to adapt to the Zixian threat. While the Zixians had the upper hand in technology, humanity had learned how to fight with limited resources and still come out on top. Maya knew that the battle wouldn't be easy, but she also knew that humanity's heart was stronger than anything the Zixians could throw at them. The planet had been through wars before, but this was different. The whole world was united. Everyone, from the tiniest village to the biggest city, had a role to play. Earth's fight for survival was not just a military battle. It was a battle of will, a test of humanity's strength and determination. As the Zixian fleet grew closer, Maya gathered her top commanders. "We know they're powerful," she said, looking each one of them in the eye. "But we have something they don't. We have the power of every person on this planet behind us. We won't stop until Earth is safe." Her words resonated deeply with everyone in the room. The fight for Earth had become personal for each and every one of them. It wasn't just about defending a planet. It was about defending their homes, their families, and their future. The countdown to the first major battle began. Maya knew that the next few hours would determine the fate of Earth. With everything on the line, humanity was ready to show the Zixians what they were made of. It wouldn't be easy, but they had one advantage that could never be measured by technology or weapons: the unbreakable spirit of humanity. And with that, the defense of Earth began. The day the battle finally arrived, Earth was ready. For days, Captain Maya Brooks had coordinated with military leaders across the globe. Earth's defense systems had been fortified, weapons prepared, and soldiers positioned. Now, all that was left was to face the Zixian threat head-on. The Zixian fleet, massive and intimidating, hung silently in space, just beyond Earth's atmosphere. Each ship was a marvel of alien technology, sleek and efficient, their surfaces glimmering under the distant light of the sun. The Earth Defense Force, while brave and united, could not help but feel the weight of the odds against them. Humanity had never fought a war like this. The Zixians' weapons were so powerful they could turn entire cities into ashes with a single blast. Maya stood at the heart of the command center, watching the live feed of the alien ships as they drew closer. Her heart raced, but she kept her composure. "We must be ready. This is our one chance to stop them," she thought, her mind focused. As Earth's military began to take their positions, Maya's attention shifted to the advanced weapons they had developed in the past few days. The new energy shields, powered by Earth's largest space stations, had been a game changer. Though not perfect, they could absorb and redirect some of the energy from the Zixians' attacks. It wasn't much, but it was enough to give humanity a fighting chance. The countdown had begun. Across the globe, soldiers climbed into their vehicles, pilots prepared for takeoff, and civilians huddled in shelters, waiting for news. The fight for Earth was no longer an abstract idea. It was real, and it was happening now. On Maya's command, the first wave of fighter jets launched into the sky. They were fast, nimble, and equipped with the best weapons humanity had ever developed. These jets were the first line of defense, meant to engage the Zixian ships and create a diversion. Every pilot knew that they might not return, but they were ready to give everything for Earth's survival. As the jets soared through the atmosphere, Maya gave the order to engage the Zixian fleet. The first energy beams from the alien ships hit Earth's shields, shaking the ground with their force. The sheer power of the blasts was staggering, but the shields held, barely. The first wave of fighters reached the Zixian ships, dodging incoming fire. They opened fire, using their advanced weapons to strike at the alien vessels. The blasts from Earth's jets were not enough to pierce the Zixian ship's armor, but they did manage to create some minor damage, making the Zixians take notice. But then, the true scale of the enemy's power became clear. A single Zixian ship fired a beam directly at one of Earth's defense stations. The station exploded in a brilliant flash, sending debris scattering into space. The Earth defense team watched in shock, knowing that the loss of this station would significantly weaken their defenses. Maya clenched her fists as she watched the devastation unfold. But she didn't have time to mourn. "We can't afford to lose any more stations. Activate all remaining defenses," she ordered. The next wave of humanity's forces joined the battle. Armed with laser-guided missiles, drones, and enhanced plasma cannons, they moved to engage the Zixians head-on. Earth's space stations and defense ships were positioned in strategic locations around the planet, creating a net of protection, though it was rapidly being overwhelmed. As the fighting intensified, Maya could hear the reports coming in through her earpiece. "The Zixian ships are overwhelming our forces," one of her officers reported. "They're too fast, too powerful." Maya didn't flinch. "Hold the line," she said firmly, her voice steady. "We fight for Earth." Humanity's resilience was on full display. Despite the odds, the soldiers, pilots, and engineers fought with everything they had. It was clear that Earth's forces were outmatched in terms of technology, but the humans fought with heart and determination. Minutes felt like hours as the battle raged on. The Earth forces continued to push back, despite the Zixians' superior firepower. The fighters and warships launched wave after wave of attacks, and though many were destroyed in the process, they kept coming. They had no choice. Their world depended on them. Then, something unexpected happened. Amid the chaos, Maya noticed a shift in the Zixian formation. One of their ships, larger than the rest, began to break away from the main group. It seemed to be heading directly toward Earth's largest space station, the one that had been the last line of defense. "That ship is going straight for the station," Maya said, pointing at the monitor. "We have to stop it." Without hesitation, she gave the order for Earth's remaining forces to target the rogue ship. A squadron of fighters led the charge, diving straight toward the massive Zixian vessel. The ship fired its devastating weapons, but the Earth pilots, knowing the risks, pressed on. It was a desperate move, but it was humanity's only hope. The fighters swarmed the Zixian ship, unleashing everything they had. And then, with one final, concentrated blast, Earth's weapons hit their mark. The Zixian ship exploded in a blinding flash, its destruction sending shockwaves through space. It was the first victory humanity had scored against the invaders. Maya let out a breath she didn't realize she'd been holding. The battle was far from over, but this small victory gave humanity hope. It proved that even against impossible odds, they could still fight back. And fight back they would. The destruction of the massive Zixian ship had sent a wave of relief through Earth's forces, but the battle was far from over. Maya Brooks stood in the heart of the command center, eyes fixed on the chaos unfolding before her. The fight had only just begun, and the Zixians weren't backing down. But humanity had just shown them that they could be defeated. That knowledge was enough to reignite the fires of hope. Maya watched as the reports continued to pour in. The Earth Defense Force was battered and bruised, but they weren't giving up. Fighter jets, ships, and soldiers across the planet kept fighting, determined to hold off the Zixian invasion. The unity of Earth's forces was stronger than ever, and with every successful strike against the Zixians, the hope that they could win this war grew. "Keep pressing forward," Maya ordered, her voice steady and commanding. "We've shown them that we can win. Now, we prove it again." Her words were more than just commands. They were a rallying cry. Every soldier, every pilot, and every engineer across Earth felt the weight of her leadership. They weren't just fighting for their lives. They were fighting for the future of the planet. While the battle raged in space, humanity's leaders worked tirelessly to keep civilians safe. Shelters were set up, emergency teams worked to tend to the wounded, and families gathered in places of safety. The war wasn't just happening in space, it was affecting every part of Earth. But even as the world endured, people remained united. Back in the command center, Maya's team worked relentlessly to devise a new strategy. They had learned from the first wave of fighting, and now they were preparing for the next phase. Earth's forces were outnumbered, but they had gained something invaluable: knowledge. The Zixian ships, although powerful, weren't invincible. Maya knew this was their chance to exploit any weakness. "We need to find their command ship," Maya said, her mind already working through the next steps. "If we can take out their leadership, we can cripple their fleet." Her officers nodded in agreement. It wasn't going to be easy. The Zixian command ship was heavily protected and well guarded, but Maya believed that if Earth's forces worked together, they could do it. The strength of humanity had already surprised the Zixians, and now it was time to take that strength to the next level. As the Earth forces regrouped and prepared for their next mission, a new wave of fighters launched into space. Maya had ordered them to aim for the heart of the Zixian fleet. The plan was risky. Attacking the command ship directly would put the pilots in extreme danger. But Maya knew it was the only way to turn the tide of the battle. Hundreds of fighters joined the assault, weaving through the Zixian ships and dodging blasts. The aliens' advanced weapons tore through the atmosphere, but the humans were relentless. They fought with everything they had, their every move fueled by the knowledge that this could be their last chance to save Earth. The Zixians retaliated fiercely, and for a moment, it seemed as though the humans might not make it. Ships exploded in the distance, their remains scattering through the void. But the humans kept going. Each loss was painful, but every soldier knew that their sacrifice brought them closer to victory. Maya stayed glued to her monitors, tracking every movement of the battle. She could feel the tension mounting as the fighters closed in on the Zixian command ship. It was a daring move, but it was working. The Zixians were distracted, focusing their energy on the incoming threat. "This is it," Maya muttered under her breath. "We need to strike now." The Earth forces launched their final assault on the Zixian command ship. They came from every angle, a swarm of humanity's finest, each fighter determined to make it count. Energy blasts lit up the void of space, and as the humans closed in, they could see the Zixian ship beginning to falter. The Zixians, in their arrogance, had underestimated the human spirit. They had believed that their superior technology would be enough to crush Earth's forces, but they hadn't counted on the determination of millions of people fighting for their homes, their families, and their way of life. As Earth's fighters delivered a final devastating blow, the Zixian command ship exploded in a brilliant burst of light. The shockwave from the explosion rippled through space, and for a moment, everything went silent. Maya exhaled a breath she hadn't realized she was holding. She could hardly believe it. They had done it. Earth's forces had taken down the heart of the Zixian fleet. The remaining Zixian ships, now leaderless and disorganized, were easy prey for Earth's forces. They scattered, attempting to retreat, but they had no chance. The human military, fueled by the fire of victory, tore through the remaining ships with unmatched ferocity. It was a decisive victory, one that would go down in history as the day humanity proved they would never be defeated. Maya watched the last of the Zixian ships crumble under Earth's might. Her heart swelled with pride. The battle wasn't over yet, but the tide had shifted. Humanity had shown the universe that they could stand together in the face of any threat, no matter how great. The Zixians had underestimated them, and now they knew better. Earth had won, but at a great cost. Many lives had been lost, and the scars of war would remain for years to come. But as Maya looked at the Earth below, she knew one thing for certain. Humanity was stronger than ever, and no force in the galaxy would ever take that away. The dust had settled, but the battle was far from over. Earth had won a significant victory, but the cost was heavy. Across the planet, people still couldn't believe what had just happened. They had fought against a much stronger enemy, and somehow, against all odds, they had come out on top. Captain Maya Brooks stood in the command center, her eyes scanning the aftermath on the large screens. The Zixian fleet had been devastated, but Earth had suffered losses as well. Ships were damaged, military bases had been destroyed, and countless brave souls had given their lives to protect their home. But the victory, no matter how hard won, was still a beacon of hope. Maya had seen the strength of humanity in the face of incredible danger. It wasn't just the technology or the weapons that made the difference. It was the unity, the courage, and the unwavering will to fight for Earth. Maya leaned back in her chair, her hands resting on the table in front of her. The battle was over, but the war wasn't. There were still scattered Zixian ships in orbit, and they weren't going to leave without a fight. Humanity had made a stand, but the war had only just begun. "Captain," a voice broke through her thoughts. Maya turned to see one of her officers standing by her side. "We've received a message from the Zixians. It's a surrender offer." Maya frowned. A surrender. She wasn't sure if she could trust it. After everything they had been through, could they believe the enemy was ready to end the war? The officer handed her a data pad, and Maya scanned the message. It was a simple statement. The Xixian Empire offers an unconditional surrender. You have proven your strength. We will cease all hostilities immediately if you accept our terms. Maya was silent for a long moment. Her mind raced. This was a decision that would change the course of history. She had seen the destruction the Xixians were capable of, and the thought of them retreating without further loss of life was tempting. But there was something about the offer that didn't sit right with her. Was it genuine? Or was it a trap? We need time to think, Maya said, handing the pad back to her officer. Prepare a response, and get me in touch with the leaders of Earth's military forces. I want to discuss this with them. The officer nodded and quickly left to carry out her orders. Maya sat back, her thoughts heavy. It was hard to imagine the Xixians simply giving up. This offer could be a way to buy time, to regroup and prepare for another wave of attacks, or it could be a genuine attempt at peace. Across the world, Earth's leaders held a summit to discuss the situation. Maya was in constant contact with them, working tirelessly to decide what the best course of action was. If Earth accepted the surrender, it could mean the end of the war. But what if it was a trap? What if accepting would put humanity at risk again? After hours of deliberation, the decision was made. Maya stood before a large screen, addressing the people of Earth. This is Captain Maya Brooks of Earth's Defense Forces. We have received a surrender offer from the Xixian Empire. After careful consideration, we have decided to accept their terms. We believe this is the best course of action for the safety of our planet and our people. There was silence in the room as Maya spoke, but she could feel the weight of the moment. The decision was not easy, and there was no guarantee that the Xixians would honor their word. But she believed that humanity had proven its strength, and perhaps that was enough to earn a peace. As the message was broadcast around the world, Earth's forces began to stand down. Soldiers returned to their bases, and ships returned to Earth's atmosphere. The tension was palpable, but there was a sense of cautious optimism. The battle had been won, and the world had come together like never before. But just as humanity began to breathe a sigh of relief, a new challenge emerged. The Xixians had surrendered, but their leaders were not the only ones watching Earth. There were other powers in the galaxy, powers who had been watching this war from the shadows, and they were now making their move. Maya knew that peace, if it was to come, would not be simple. Earth had gained the respect of the galaxy, but new enemies were already gathering. It would be up to humanity to face whatever came next, together. As she looked out at the world from the command center, Maya couldn't help but feel a glimmer of hope. Humanity had proven that even in the face of overwhelming odds, they could stand tall. But the galaxy was vast, and Earth had only just begun to show its strength. Whatever came next, Maya knew one thing for sure: Earth was ready to face it. The peaceful days following the Xixian surrender were short-lived. Earth had won a major battle, but now the galaxy was looking at them with new eyes. Some saw humanity's victory as a sign of strength, while others saw it as a challenge. Captain Maya Brooks stood in the command center, her hands folded across her chest as she looked at the screens before her. The Xixians had retreated, but new signals were now appearing on their radars. There were more ships, more threats from deep within the galaxy. The peace Earth had hoped for was becoming increasingly uncertain. "We're getting strange readings from deep space," Lieutenant Harris reported, his voice tense as he studied his console. "It's not Xixian. These ships are different, and they're coming fast." Maya turned to him, her expression hardening. "How far out are they?" "Less than 3 days at this speed," Harris replied. "They'll reach our borders soon." The crew in the command center fell into a heavy silence. Even though the Xixians were no longer a threat, the reality of the situation was clear. There were more dangers out there. The galaxy was vast, and Earth had made enemies beyond their knowledge. Whoever these new ships belonged to, They would likely test humanity's resolve once more. "Prepare for everything," Maya said firmly. "I want all fighters ready for launch, and all defensive systems on high alert. We don't know who these ships belong to, but we're not going to let them take Earth without a fight." As the days passed, Maya and her team worked tirelessly to prepare Earth's defenses. The unknown enemy was closing in, and the people of Earth were ready for what was coming. However, even with the best technology and strategy, Maya couldn't help but feel the weight of the unknown. What if they were facing something they couldn't handle? With only hours to go before the new ships arrived, Maya walked down the halls of the Scifi Center, stopping to talk with soldiers and engineers. She saw the same determination in their eyes that had been there during the Xixian War. Humanity had faced one threat and come out victorious. Now, they were preparing for whatever came next. The news had spread across the planet, and there was an undeniable sense of unity. People from all walks of life, from every corner of Earth, were determined to protect their home. There were no divisions, no arguments. Humanity had learned the hard way that only together could they stand against the universe's dangers. As the countdown ticked down, Maya couldn't help but think about the future. Earth had proven itself capable of great things, but what if this new enemy was unlike anything they had ever seen? The Xixians had been powerful, but humanity had defeated them through sheer willpower. Would that be enough to survive what was coming next? Within hours, the enemy ships were within range. Maya stood at the front of the command center, watching the fleet of unknown ships as they loomed in the distance. These ships were unlike any the Xixians had ever used. Their design was sleek and menacing, and the energy readings from them were far beyond anything Earth had encountered. The new enemy made no effort to communicate. They simply advanced, as if Earth's survival was not even a consideration. Maya's heart pounded as she gave the order to begin their defense. "All units, engage," Maya commanded. "Protect Earth with everything you've got." The battle began almost immediately. Earth's fighter jets and ships launched into space, their weapons firing as they collided with the enemy fleet. The unknown ships responded with heavy firepower, their advanced weapons tearing through Earth's forces with frightening efficiency. It was clear that the enemy wasn't here to negotiate. They had come for Earth. Maya's eyes never left the battle, her heart racing as the warships clashed. The Earth fleet was giving its all, but the new enemy was relentless. Ships exploded, debris flying across the vast emptiness of space. Maya watched as more pilots fell, their ships disintegrating in fiery bursts of light. It was chaos. "Deploy the backup forces," Maya ordered. "We need reinforcements, now." The backup forces scrambled into position, but even with their additional strength, Earth was struggling to hold its ground. The enemy was not just powerful, they were organized, relentless, and well-coordinated. Their strategy was like nothing Earth had ever seen. This was no ordinary invasion. This was something much bigger. Just as things seemed bleak, a new wave of fighters appeared on the horizon. Maya blinked in surprise as the familiar markings of Earth's allies appeared on her radar. A fleet of ships from the Andromeda system, led by Commander Lena Tan, had arrived just in time. "We've got your back, Maya." Commander Tan's voice crackled over the communication channel. "Let's show them what humanity's made of." The Andromedan fleet joined the fight, and together with Earth's forces, they began to push back the enemy. The combined might of humanity's allies was a sight to behold. As the enemy ships faltered, Earth's forces seized the opportunity to strike. But Maya knew this wasn't the end. The enemy was powerful, and they would not retreat easily. It was clear that they had underestimated Earth, but Maya wasn't sure how long that would last. This battle was just the beginning of something much larger. She stood tall, her eyes focused on the enemy ships retreating into the distance. The fight for Earth was far from over, but humanity had already proven that they would never back down. Together, they would face whatever came next. Together, they would protect their home. The battle was over, but the war was far from finished. The enemy had retreated, but the damage they had caused was still being felt across Earth. Captain Maya Brooks stood on the observation deck, looking out at the stars. It had been a hard fight, but humanity had shown its strength once again. The battle with the unknown fleet had proven that Earth was not a planet to be taken lightly. Maya watched as the last of the enemy ships disappeared into deep space, and a quiet feeling of relief washed over her. The world had been on the edge of destruction, and yet they had survived. More than that, they had fought back with a bravery and unity that no one had ever expected from them. Earth had proven itself capable of standing against the most powerful forces in the galaxy. But even as she breathed a sigh of relief, Maya knew that the road ahead would be just as difficult. The galaxy was vast, and there were many who had been watching humanity's rise with interest. Some would want to destroy them. Others would want to control them. Earth had made a powerful statement, but Maya knew that it had only just begun to face the true scale of what lay beyond the stars. Behind her, a voice interrupted her thoughts. "Captain Brooks," it was Lieutenant Harris, walking briskly toward her. "We've received a message from the Andromedan fleet. They want to discuss forming an alliance." Maya turned, surprised. "An alliance? After everything that's happened?" "Yes, Captain," Harris replied. "They're impressed by Earth's strength and want to help us build something bigger, something that could unite the galaxy. It seems they believe that humanity can lead the way in bringing order to the chaos out here." Maya was silent for a moment, taking in the gravity of what she had just heard. An alliance with the Andromedans. It was a huge step. Earth had only just shown its strength, but now it was being offered a chance to be a part of something much larger. This could be the beginning of a new era for humanity. "We need to think this through," Maya said. "Get me in contact with Commander Tan. I want to discuss their offer." Within minutes, the hologram of Commander Lena Tan flickered to life in front of her. The Andromedan leader appeared calm and confident, her eyes locked onto Maya's. "Captain Brooks, I know Earth has been through a lot," Commander Tan said. "But what I've seen from your people is something remarkable. You have a chance to unite the galaxy, to bring order to a universe that has been torn apart by endless wars. The Andromedan fleet stands ready to help, but only if Earth is willing to take the first step." Maya considered the words carefully. The offer was tempting. The chance to be a part of something greater, to build a future where Earth and its allies could stand together, was a powerful vision. But Maya knew that with great power came great responsibility. If humanity was to become a leader in the galaxy, they would have to face challenges that they couldn't yet imagine. "I understand the weight of your offer, Commander Tan," Maya said after a long pause. "But before we make any decisions, we need to know more. Earth is still recovering, and there are many who are wary of alliances. Trust will take time." "I understand," Commander Tan replied with a nod. "We can give you that time. But know this, Captain. The galaxy is changing, and the question is no longer whether Earth is ready. It's whether the galaxy is ready for Earth." Maya's heart raced. The weight of the decision was heavy, but she knew it was a decision that would affect the future of humanity. She wasn't sure if Earth was truly ready for such a responsibility, but one thing was certain: humanity was capable of great things. The next few weeks were spent discussing the alliance in detail. Earth's leaders, military officials, and scientists worked with the Andromedans to explore the possibilities. They shared knowledge, traded ideas, and began to form a plan for the future. Earth's technology was already advanced, but with the help of their new allies, they could achieve even more. The galaxy, once a place of uncertainty and fear, was starting to feel a little smaller. Humanity, once a fledgling species on the edge of the universe, was now standing at the center of a new age. The promise of peace, prosperity, and unity felt within reach. As Maya looked out at the stars once again, she realized how much had changed. Earth had faced unimaginable challenges, but it had emerged stronger. The people of Earth had proven that they could rise to any occasion, no matter how impossible the odds seemed. They had faced enemies from across the galaxy and had come out victorious. They had shown that humanity would not back down. "We've done it," Maya said softly to herself. "We've made it through." But she knew that this was just the beginning. The galaxy was vast, and there were more challenges to face. But now, Earth wasn't alone. The future of humanity was brighter than ever, and the possibilities seemed endless. With allies by their side, Earth would rise to new heights. Maya took one last look at the stars. The journey ahead was uncertain, but humanity was ready to face whatever the galaxy would throw at them. Together, they would shape the future. And with that, Earth's new chapter had begun.